The book!
Carlo?
In Inferno, Dario Argento really attempts to outdo himself to terrify his characters and his audience. There's a guillotine death with a broken window pane, death by cats,
Rats are eating me!
death by rats, and the worst torture of all, Keith Emerson's musical score. These moments are shot with a crudeness that, from my vantage point, has a touch too much camp in its perversity to be truly horrifying.
What a strange smell.
But all the same, I find myself admiring Inferno more than even his much-touted Suspiria. I locate my pleasure in moments like this one, where Argento has his characters wandering through eerie spaces en route to their inevitable undoing. These sequences are no less dependent on horror movie cliches than the rest of the film. If anything, they're even more dependent on formula. But for me, Argento manages to take these familiar setups and invest them with a sense of sacrificial ritual, whose dark profanity at times seems graced by a sense of hallowedness. Invariably, these victims enter the passage to their doom by opening doors, descending stairwells, or rounding corners. Stairwells get special pride of place in Inferno. In this particular shot, both the camera and the music seem to regard the stairwell with tender reverence, while setting a trance-like tone that seems to draw poor Irene Miracle onward despite her better instincts. Given that most of these scenes are shot in nearly impenetrable shadow, you have to admire how much detailed clutter is placed in these settings. It's not done for the sake of realism, but like a Tarkovsky movie, it's like walking through the clutter of your own mind. Speaking of Tarkovsky, I can't help but think of the climax of Nostalgia as I watch Irene Miracle carrying her little light here. These cutaway shots of the dead light bulb and severed electric cables seem extraneous, since we can already assume that the lights don't work, but it's in line with Argento's use of arbitrary inserts throughout the film to enhance this sense of illogical dread. Some compare Argento to Michelangelo Antonioni, and in these scenes one can practically see Monica Vitti walking through a horror version of an Antonioni movie. Antonioni's experiential approach to cinema has his protagonist walking through contemporary landscapes that seem to harbor more secrets over time, until they threaten to evaporate the very foundations of real-life certainty. In Inferno, there's hardly a veneer of reality left standing. With his garish color schemes and overt soundtrack, Argento's vision of life as perpetual dread couldn't be more pronounced. Perhaps his filmmaking lacks for subtlety, but I think it's in these moments in between the shocks and the murders that we can find him at his most unsettling, where we can appreciate his elaborate choreography of light, color, and shadow to create these landscapes of unease. Irene Miracle is practically moving through a work of abstract art, passing a trapezoidal area of red, the broken window pane that will be used to decapitate her moments later. Why is it that Antonioni and Argento are so drawn to wandering women? Antonioni's women dramatize the crisis of modernity, in that their unprecedented level of freedom came with a sense of disorientation and uncertainty of how to construct a better way of life, leading to their extended odysseys through Italian society. Argento has no such social preoccupations. His motivations are the same as that of D.W. Griffith or Quentin Tarantino, exploiting the fragility of the female figure for dramatic effect. Argento may seem particularly misogynistic in his treatment of women characters, unless one considers that for him, a woman is as abstract as the concept of red or blue or a broken glass that's used as a blade. After all, it's just a movie.